I'd like to invite our ushers down. And I want to remind those of you who took the 40-day prosperity plan class, don't forget when you put your tithe, any unexpected income, put it either on the check or put it in an envelope so we can tally that up at the end of the 40 days. So those of you who are love streaming, there's also a number there that you can also tithe to the center and support us. So let's just prepare our offering. Let's take a deep breath in and let's say our offertory prayer together, please. I offer this gift with joy and gratitude. I receive freely and give freely, knowing the law of circulation is working perfectly in my life and the life of this center. Hello. How are you today?
I have a basket of money. I'm good.
Yes. Okay. And what is your name and how long have you been here?
My name is Debbie. I've been coming here just under 2 years.
Oh, Debbie, well, we're happy you're here. Thank you for bringing up the offering today. All right, let's bless this offering together, please. We bless this collective offering and receive it with gratitude, knowing it is spirit in action. As this currency flows through our center and beyond, it blesses many lives, including my own.
All right, so today is the 4th chapter in the Science of Mind textbook. We go through the first 4 chapters every January, and today is the how to use it in accountability. Are you ready? Ready? All right, because I need some of that energy right now, so bring it to me. All right, the thing itself, what it does and how it works, that's what we've covered. And today we're going to cover how it actually, what we do, how we use it. Here we go. Dr. Ernest Holmes says this: one of the greatest difficulties in the new order of thought is that we are likely to indulge in too much theory and too little practice. You think? Yeah, we like to say, and we're good at actually telling people how good we are at the theory of it. Aren't we? And then, you know, if you're like me, you go, wow, that person's really smart. They really have it together. Well, they have their vocabulary together. They have their thoughts together. The question is, do they have their life reflecting what they're learning? Right? Are you with me? As a matter of fact, we only know as much as we can prove and actually demonstrate. So you remember that movie, Show Me the... Yeah, but it's not if the money. It's not about the money. You know what? Show me health. Show me your health. Show me your loving relationships. It's not about, money is part of it. Show me your financial security. Show me your creativity. Show me what you do in your life to serve other people. So just show me. That's what the process of this is, just show me that you know this. Not just talk about it, but have your life be a reflection of that which we're learning. So today I want to talk about 2 different ideas. And I'm going to go kind of deep and fast quick because there's a little bit to both of these that I think we need to reflect on. There's the question of what if. What if your relationships looked a certain way? What if your health looks a certain way? What if? Did you ever ask yourself that question? Well, what would happen if this would happen? You ever done that? Played the what if game? So I want to shift from the what if game to the why not game. Are you ready? Because why not? A lot of people spend a lot of time in the what if game, but they don't spend a lot of time in the why not, or if they do it in the negative. Well, I can tell you why not. Actually, that's really good when your friend says something. They tell you you want to do something. You go, well, why not? And I'm like, well, I can tell you 1,000 reasons why it's not going to work for you. Anybody ever have that friend? Yeah. Friend? Anyway, all right, so what if? Is a question of exploration. What might be? The question is imaginative and receptive. I want you to look at your life and say, what if my health were a certain way? What if my relationships were, and transforming, not just saying what if it stays the same, but what if it goes into something greater and a greater expression? What if my relationships? What if my work and my creative expression? What if my financial security? Start imagining what could happen. The first thing we have to do is kick into this imagination because we already know what our facts are. I'm squeaking today. We already know what our facts are. Do you agree? I know what my facts are, but what is my truth? Don't confuse facts with truth. Many people confuse facts and they say, because it's my fact, it's my truth. But your truth is not the facts on a piece of paper. It's not what it looks like on a diagnosis. Your truth is that you are born in the image and likeness of the Creator, who is made to express and love by means of you and experience by means of you. So if you've accepted something as your truth and your factual reality, then there's a problem. We've got to disengage that and say, these are my facts, but this is the truth of my being. Are you with me? All right? In a world geared toward making all of us the same. And I say that because you look at the world around us and there's this move affront for everybody to sort of be the same. Corporations and values, religion, codes of ethics, societies, laws and rules. What if dares us to uncover something different, something unusual, something else, something not the same? So if we go into the what if game, I'm daring you to look at your life differently. I'm challenging you to say, don't continue to live the status quo. Allow yourself to think outside the box that you're in. And now many times we will take the box, and this is what we'll do. Pretend I'm in a box, okay? Right here, right? We'll go like this. We'll open up the lid and go, oh no. No. We want to take the lid off, and we make a little bit of effort on Sunday. We take the lid off. We go to brunch, lid down. You know, it sounded good when Joe was talking about it. It sounded good on the paper, but not so good in practice. So what if is trying to draw us into something bigger and greater? What if is a question that demands volume, more ideas. So the what if on your life means I can't stay in the same capacity in which I am now. If I said to you there's a requirement to grow in your relationships, a requirement, not an option. But if I said there's a requirement to grow loving relationships and grow the relationships you have and bring new ones in, what would you do to fulfill that requirement? What action would you take to be more loving and caring and gentle with people? What would you do to attract other people into your life so that loving, gentle, and tender people are part of your life experience? It requires us to look at more possibilities, more perspectives. In general, most people typically come up with one solution, then implement it. We come up with, I've got an idea. Check that off the list. I don't have to think about it anymore. But why do we wait and just come up with one idea? What if we said, there's one idea, but I need to continue exploring more ideas? But a lot of times we like to go, because we want to check things off the list and get on to the next thing. Anybody? Yes. Anybody? Come on, anybody? Yes. Thank you. All right, just let me know you're there. It's not always the most expedient thing, is not always the right answer. It may be the easiest thing to do, but it's not the most expedient. I have to go to confession. Sometimes being speedy isn't necessarily a good thing. Like yesterday, when I rolled through a stop sign. There was a medical emergency. I had to go to the restroom, I'm being honest. So I'm like, I'll never get caught. So I rolled through it. Nope. The lights go on. And now there's a real problem. Because now my desire for speed has cost me time and now money, inconvenience. And I'm thinking, all that for a rolling stop. Why couldn't sometimes we get in such a hurry that we literally roll through life when we're supposed to stop a little bit. Does that make sense? Yes. William, fans please. Yet being creative, asking what if means coming up with as many ideas as possible, even bad ideas. Come up with bad ideas. If for no other reason than bad ideas are often the birthplace of good ideas. You know? So when someone, and this happens, sometimes you'll be wanting to share ideas with people and they'll tell you how bad your idea really is. Do you know all those people? But maybe that challenge to us is not to listen to that as a challenge, but a challenge to say, look, there's a good idea in there somewhere. I just haven't gotten to it yet. So there must be something better because, and not that you're buying into the negativity of the energy, but there's an option to grow something better in that process. Does that make sense? Yeah. All right, so that's the birthplace. Now, why not is the spiritual brother of what if? All right? So now we're going to move into a brotherhood. So why not? And now let's move into what if, all right? So where's the first question, where the first question focuses on possibilities, why not challenges the limitations we perceive about an idea itself? This is how we use this. We say, what if, and then I go, well, why not? People do this to me all the time. They'll tell me their dream, and I'll be like, how long have you been on this dream? Oh, I've wanted this my whole life. I'm like not bad enough. They don't like to hear that. Because if you've wanted it your whole life and you've spent your whole life wanting it but not taking any action to do it, then you really didn't want it. It's just kind of a wish. It's a daydream. But it's not really something you want, because when I want something, think about it. When you really want something, you get it. You start taking action. You start moving to make it happen. So when we go into this idea of why not, it challenges the limitations that we perceive about the idea itself. It has to be, and this is where, how to use this, this is where we get into the double talk. I really want this, but this is why it's not going to happen, right? Even my own talk will give me the reasons why. Well, and I'm good at excuses. Anybody else? I'm great at excuses. I told you about my buddy Kevin over here. I'm always having an excuse. I'm like, he's like, yeah, you do 10 of these. I'm thinking, 8's good enough. Or it's never, I'm always like making an excuse. So I'm tired. I'm like, no, I don't want to do that. And my good one, my best one, I think I'm going to hurt myself. Isn't that a great excuse not to do something? Yeah. Or my thing is, well, I'll sweat too much. But I sweat when I swim, so it really doesn't matter. But we come up with these limitations, these limits on why we won't do things, and begins to immediately justify my dream not taking root, my dream not going into drive. Does that make sense? Limitations fall into two groups. When I start creating limitations, there's either real ones or there's ones based on perception, right? Perceptual. Real limitations might be logistic, an idea. Look, you cannot snow ski down 74, right? That's just a fact, right? But there are places where you can ski. Does that make a difference? You see what I'm saying? So sometimes it's a logistics thing, right? It can't be implemented for environmental reasons, or it might work in one place but not another, or situational. Or the idea actually doesn't fit the status quo. So sometimes when we have that real limitation, it's because we're going to be challenging old ideas and old paradigms. Now here, perceptual issues are more common. They're imposed by groups or by an individual, or sometimes just by ourselves. Our limited perception of what's possible. This happens a lot in relationships and in finances and in health. Are you ready? We tell ourselves, in relationships, we say to ourselves, we create situations that say, because I've been hurt or things have gone a certain way, I only want relationships to be like this in a box. And then someone has to try to fit in your box. And the thing is, the person that's trying to fit in your box has their box. And you just got to hope that somehow they're going to fit together. But the reality is, many times those perceptual things have nothing to do with what's real. They have to do with our past history and past understandings, and not the possibility of what can be. Does that make sense? So it limits us because we have a perception of limitation. I bet everyone in this room can come up with 10 perceptual limitations that they have. Minimum of 10. Do you agree? Yeah. Do you agree? Yeah. Go to confession and say yes. Because I think everybody does. when you're willing to admit them and say, you know what, I have these perceptual limitations that I have with myself. Excuse me, I feel like I'm a teenager again. That could work. My perception. I just got spiritually shanked by my minister. Wow. Whether real or perceptual, in the end, it really doesn't matter what kind of issues they are. It's vital to acknowledge and understand these issues are problems raised by the why not, because it's why the idea can't be put into action. Whether you're playing what if or why not, many times it's just because you want to find a reason not to do it. You want to find a justification for status quo, a justification to say, look, I'm not willing to step out on the limb and take that risk. I'm not willing to do what it takes to, I'm not willing to get up that early in the morning or stay up that late or, God forbid I miss my nap. That's a big one, That's a big one, right? Why not ask questions about what's getting in the way? So I say to you, why not better health? Why not? If I sat down and said to a conversation with you, why not better health? Tell me why not, why can you not achieve better health? Give me the reasons. And anybody going to have some? Of course. Of course. At the same time, be careful of the answer, because it could be negative, and that won't work, or an unconstructive idea is like saying that's not a good idea, but it really is. Better health is always a better idea. Better relationships are always a better idea. Staying in the status quo is not going to move the boundaries, and how this thing that we call the universe works is it's continuously pushing us into a system of feeling uncomfortable about our sameness, about our routine. That's why that divine, I call it the divine urge, starts to push us and say, well, maybe I do want to take that trip, or maybe I do want to have a relationship, or maybe the window starts to open just a little bit about possibility. And when that happens, why not do that? Why not? Why not step into it? Do me a favor, though. When you say why not, the next phrase is a phrase that kills many dreams. You know what it is? What's the worst that could happen? Anybody use that? Well, why not? Well, what's the worst that could happen? That's almost structurally, that's almost the response to people telling you, why not? And you go, well, what's the worst that could happen? Try it. But then by planting the idea about what's the worst that could happen, you've just put a seed in your head, and the plant begins to grow about what might happen if it doesn't work. Are you with me? Yeah. So it's incumbent upon us to be very careful about the internal dialogue. And it is mostly an internal dialogue. And the one thing I have to caution us on is that internal dialogues are always heard by the universe. It doesn't mean you've shared it with a friend or emailed it or sent it in a text message. That's not what solidifies it. Solidifies it is the pattern of thought that's always on your backup idea. What's the worst that could happen? Instead of what's the best that could happen. Are you with me? Yeah. All right. The question challenges status quo. It's no surprise that why not is sometimes confrontational. Your ego's not going to want to hear why not. Your subconscious is going to fight the why not. The patterns that you've created in your life are going to fight you on the why not, because it moves, again, from a place of comfort into the place of not being comfortable. And so there's going to be this mental rejection that you have to challenge. And you have to be really forthright with it. You have to tell it. Remember I did a talk a couple of weeks back, a couple months, called Shut the Hell Up? Remember? For those of you who don't remember that, you're going, oh my God, what did he say? But you have to literally tell that voice to shut the hell up. You have no business being in my mental house. Does that make sense? Yes. All right, here we go. Another way of looking at these two questions. What if uncovers the future? Why not uncovers what's going on right now? What if is the possibility? It's the search process. It's the imaginative process. But why not uncovers what's going on right now, and that means when you say why not, that requires you to do something. One of the hardest parts of the first 4 chapters, we get to the 4th chapter of the textbook, it requires that we use one word, which is probably one of the most challenging words when it comes to every aspect of life. Trust. You have to trust the universe. We don't trust the universe. We challenge it. Many times we don't trust it. And that's a dangerous place to be. I say this all the time, we trust Amazon more than we trust God. Amazon delivers. 3 days, sometimes overnight. With God, you have to wait. Limitation has no law to support it. Say that with me, please. Limitation has no law to support it. There is no spiritual law to support limitation. There's only me and this thing in my head that supports all the limitations that I've ever had and will have and will impose upon myself. I cannot impose a limitation on you. No one can impose a limitation on you unless you accept it as a limitation. The second you accept it as a limitation, you own it, it's yours, good luck. All right? 2 more things, real quick. The truth is instantaneous in its demonstration, taking only such time in its unfoldment as it is inherent in the law of logical and sequential evolution. That's the difference between God and Amazon. The universe works in a logical and sequential order. Amazon, you can just punch a button and it shows up. The universe requires time for that invisible stuff to become visible. And usually, I have to say usually, 9 times out of 10, it took you a while to get this messed up. Just didn't happen overnight. But because we live in an Amazon culture, we expect the result of healing to be overnight. Are you with me? Yeah. So let's be a little realistic about and trust the universe to work in its logical and sequential order. Are we following? Yeah. Page 60. Oh, I left my book. Oh my God, I left my book. It's on your desk? Yeah, it should be on my desk. Here, the grand finale, and I left it on my desk. What's that? Retired. I'm retired. Oh, I retired it. No, that's not good. Grand finale basically says this. I'll sum it up. Thank you, Laura, for getting it for me, but I'll sum it up. How much can you have? As much as you can embody. What are the limitations you have? The ones you impose upon yourself. How does the universe work? Exactly the way you've been working it your whole life. If you like what you see, you've done it right. If you don't like what you see, you've done it right wrongly. Does that make sense? It worked rightly, but it worked wrong for you because you were making the wrong decisions. So here we go. That's how this works. That's the grand finale. The finale is you can no longer contemplate. You can contemplate for this amount of time, but then the action requires you to do something, and then you have got to trust the universe to work it out and not second guess while it's working out. It was hiding. All right. But thank you, Kitty. I don't need it now. I just told you what I got it for the second service. Basically, you just got it, though. The first 4 chapters right there. It's right there for you. And it's right, it always has been, and you've been doing it with great precision, whether you know it or not. And the universe has treated you with precision, and it's been exact in its demonstration. And sometimes we go, that can't possibly be because I didn't ask for this. Well, if you did the what if, right? If you did the why not, and then you thought, well, what's the worst that could happen, and that you're living that out, then yes, you did. So that's your finale, folks. Learn it. Bye. Thank you.
From this place of truth, that love, that light that is expressing, is soaring, is each and every one of us, that divine truth that we all have the power to create the lives of our dreams, the lives, the what if life can be more magnificent. We step into it with these magnificent ideas, these magnificent visions, knowing that the universe is supporting us, knowing that the universe gave us that desire. And if it hadn't given it to us, it would not give it to us if we couldn't have it. And we can have anything we want. So we say yes. We say yes to that power, that presence that is always surrounding us, always guiding us, always lifting us to that higher level, to that higher view, to that higher vision of the possibilities of what can be. So we focus on the love. We focus on the truth. We focus on the realization that we are one with everyone. And so I just know that this is the truth. I am so grateful for this talk that Dr. Joe gave to remind us of the possibilities, for this wonderful music that opens our heart to receive, to be feeling that divine presence within us and around us. And so I let go, knowing that all is in divine right action. I know it's so, and together we say, and so it is. Amen. Have a wonderful week, everyone.